right about now. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to yet what is this now? Our second podcast here of the Club America English Language Podcast. We still yet to find a name for it, but I guess that is the last of our worries. Wait, we're having difficulties right here. Okay, sorry guys if you guys overheard that. Um, Okay, so second ever podcast, and I think we're gonna dive into what was the mess of yesterday. So joining me today, as always, Mr. Dylan Jimenez. So I'm gonna throw the mic on to you, and any words about yesterday?
Backline. That's all I can say. Backline is really kind of what saved this as much as into. That's all really. I mean,
Defense, right?
after just
Defense.
defense, yeah, that's all it seemed like it was just a defensive game, and I don't know, like I can't take anything else from that game. It's just that I mean, the lack of possession was just the one of the things too that stood out to me the most is holding on to the ball. I mean, it just wasn't there at all. I felt like.
Yeah, I know. It was horrible. I mean, for those of you who watched both all 180 minutes, like we did, we apologize for for putting you through that hard time, and I'm pretty sure the team will apologize too. But we'll talk in detail a little bit more about everything. But I guess at the end of the day, me and you both want to say that it was not good. It was not good, and we said this last podcast, it just has not been good enough. And now again with
No.
the whole backline situation and everything, it's just like, well, I mean, we find ourselves in that situation now where it was like, a basketball game. You were just chatting defense, defense, defense the whole time. And fortunately enough, you know we had the likes of Bruno, Vargas, Pablo, and Marchesin, who just absolutely killed it, as well as Samudio, of course,
Hmm.
who had a pretty decent game. So let's just kind of wrap this all up into just one big ball, and instead of dissecting two 90-minute games, let's just put it all together and let's dissect the whole 180 minutes. I think I've seen this all around. I think everyone can agree Cruz Azul was the better side with the ball, but it was America who had the best chances to score the goals.
Yeah, and it just comes to show too that like the possession what really mattered and probably what killed us too. I mean, we got them on the counterattacks here and there, and it came to show that Oribe was there too at the end. Like whenever me and you talked about in yesterday's game, Oribe just couldn't get on the end of that ball. Was it Oribe's fault or was it Darwin's fault? It's just we still can't seem to find that consistent rhythm going forward, moving into the attack and scoring a goal, which is pretty much needed, especially if whenever we play Adidas coming up, especially we're gonna need an away goal, two away goals, maybe just to have it in the bag, have it in the hand if we want to go on to the finals.
No, yeah, I agree with you, and I think Oribe was the player that had the best chances to open up this game in both legs. All right, you had his penalty that he granted. Corona blocked it, but maybe he should have taken a better penalty, and then that
Mm-hmm.
opportunity where America got Cruz Azul on the break and Darwin Quintero. It looked like I wanted to shoot it, but ended up being a cross, and Oribe was just a centimeter or two off from connecting with that ball. So, well, like we've mentioned, Oribe is there. Oribe has always been there since his arrival to America. He's always been that difference maker for the team, and that's great. But you look aside, what's next to him. There's not much to go with him, and he can't do everything by himself. And we've said that before on the podcast. And me and you have talked about it off air that Oribe cannot be the one man show. It just doesn't work like that. Not I'm not to say that Oribe isn't like a great striker, but he is not a full complete player that will pick a ball down in the middle of the field and then dribble and take 3-2 players on, and then burst with speed and finish in front of goal. He's not that type of player. He's the type of player that will fight and get you the possession back, but he's ultimately a striker, and he's the most dangerous when he's inside that 18-yard box. And we saw it in both legs. There was just no one No one that could feed him, no one that could even, give him an opportunity to try to get something going. Because, like we mentioned, Darwin was he looked great at periods, but what happened? The inconsistency of him not having an end product showcased throughout these 180 minutes, and we got to be so fortunate that Cruz Azul just weren't on their days for both of those days. So, I mean, I'm just, we'll talk about the defense, and we'll talk a little bit about more of that. But, what are your thoughts in regards to, I know I mentioned this, I asked you this last podcast too, but what do you think we lack besides, what do we lack? Because up top with Oribe.
I mean, it's either going to be another striker that's going to be standing next to Oribe, like you said, Oribe's the type of person that will win you possession, and is clinical inside the 18-yard box. We're going to have to find somebody who's going to possibly kind of be close to similar, the same style of player as Oribe too as well. Or we're going to have to find somebody that possibly can replace Darwin Quintero, someone who's going to be consistent, or somebody that's going to play behind Oribe and feed him balls to get him through and go inside the 18-yard box, because he's just clinical inside the box. 6 goals in the season. Closer to him, the next person closest is with 3 goals, but it just seems like, like time and time again, we're just going to repeat it. Oribe is the guy right now. Oribe is going to be the person who's going to have the pressure of scoring the goals, because it just seems like nobody else is really stepping up, taking on that responsibility of scoring the goals. And so what do you need? You're going to need somebody who's going to consistently make the plays, make the chances, create the chances, or you're going to need somebody who's there who's going to be a threat to the back line too, alongside Oribe, and either mark of who they're marking, and may possibly set one of them up free. Maybe Oribe can stand up for the ball and give it to whoever's his partnership with and pass it to him, or vice versa. You're gonna have to find some type of momentum going forward, not just every here and there, like every other 30 minutes or 40 minutes. You're gonna want to find that like every so often, when in a shorter amount of time and quicker. With not scoring against Cruz Azul, like you said too, obviously side, but I mean, we've had our fair share of chances too that we can't just put away. And exactly, like, I think it was either Quintero or Renato that he was doing goal 1-on-1 with Chuy Corona, and basically some nutmeg him, I believe, and then he was still on goal, but he just couldn't keep up with the ball and put it away. He was there on goal. He got past Corona and open net, but like I said, just not there to finish it is what we saw. I mean, that could have been the goal that we needed to, or not. But I mean, like, we're gonna need somebody else who's gonna help Uribe. It just can't be all Uribe.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the player that you were commenting was Renato Ibarra, who just came back after a long injury too.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. And maybe here's something too that we don't really discuss. Oribe has 6 goals, but is that really good enough? Is that really good enough for a main striker in America? Is 6 goals in the Apertura alone good enough? And I think that the bottom line is it's not. And I'm not saying that Oribe is not a good striker or anything. I feel like he would get more goals if he had more players around him that could do the work that he eventually is doing.
Right,
So I mean,
Oribe himself is a person who can score like 10 goals a season, maybe almost 15. I mean, but like you said too, he just needs somebody to surround him to give him that chance to score 10 plus goals in a season, possibly.
yeah, I mean, and he's never really had that in America, really.
Mm-mm.
I mean, he's scored a little bit more goals before too. You've had the likes of Sambuesa that fed him, sometimes Arroyo. But you saw a prime Oribe when he played in Santos, when all he had to take care of was pressing and being the striker, because he had people like Chucho Benitez, he had people like Darwin Quintero in his prime at Santos. He had a very good squad that would feed him, and that is something that as America we cannot do for him. And I think, we can't always rely on him to be the one to bail us out. And I think that's what we were hoping for this game. And I think that's what we were hoping for last game too, on Thursday, when we went down to 10 men right away. I mean, you saw this game and I'm gonna go to refer to another club, but this looked a lot like, you know, the Manchester United that was under Louis Van Gaal, when everyone was just saying, "Oh, this is just long ball United." All they do was, you know, hoof it up in the air and just hope something landed, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
America looked like for these two legs. It looked like they soaked in the pressure, and all they did was reventar the balón, whether it went wide, whether it went to someone. You know, they just said, "You know what, get it out of here." Let the forward chase it, which is not an ideal game plan. And that was it. You didn't see anything else. I mean, I was sitting along with my dad watching this game, and his frustration was that why do you always have to kick that ball out? Why can't you just play out? Just hold the
Mm-hmm.
ball. And I
Right.
think that was something that even the commentator said. You know, I think it was if you're watching it on Univision, it was Bam Bam Zamorano who was like, "Hey, America's not holding the ball, and America needs to hold the ball at this point of the match. You know, you're in the last 20, 15 minutes of the match. You need to get possession of that ball. You need to get Cruz Azul desperate enough to make a mistake on their end." And you
Mm-hmm.
just didn't
Right.
see that. And I don't really want to heavily criticize the players without also criticizing Piojo, because he came into this match and he knew what was on the line and he knew what he had to perform and what he had to do. Granted, he gets the result, and you know, people will then, you know, shrug it off. You know, as long as they don't get destroyed by Tigres, then, you know, maybe he survives this and says, you know, it was, you know, lack of squad depth and all that stuff. But I think he needs to be better. He needs to be a lot better in his planting of our starting 11, especially against a Tigres side who, yeah, maybe they don't look the best as they should be, but Tigres, you see the roster that they have, and any one of those strikers could finish a game off.
Depth. They have depth too, which is something kind
Yeah.
of we like too a little bit.
And that is something that you need in this Liga. You need depth in the squad in the Liga. And that's maybe something America doesn't really have. I think if you, at the beginning of the season, you saw some of the players come in and you thought, damn, this is a good squad. This could be a great starting 11. You look at the bench, though, it's not really much. Are you really going to call on Pedro Arce to come and save the game? You
I
know,
think I think I think really the only guy you can possibly like have a possible good chance with the Linus. That's it. But
mhm.
he didn't see no playing time yesterday at all.
No. When because Miguel Herrera knew that he had to get the result, and you know, if he
Right.
chuck in Linus, it would have been a very smart move in the defense side of everything. But
Mm-hmm.
I think I think there's a lot that America still needs to do in order to get better. But you know, now we're at this stage, we're at this point, and um I think at this point we just kind of go with what we got, you know, and just kind of keep pushing forward with that. That's pretty ultimately what we can do. We can hope for the best, and you know, hopefully it's good enough. You know, at this point we're not gonna be the most amazing team, the team that deserves to win the Liga. I think at that point Monterrey's won it, but hey, if we're the team that, you know, just, you know, scrapes by and barely gets a win and somehow wins a championship like that, then if it was good enough, it's good enough. I mean, a title's a title at the end of the season, but um, you know, it's not gonna be easy against Tigres, and it won't be
No.
pretty either.
No, and the one thing that too that kind of bothered me too was do you think the formation could have played a factor? You know, do you think the 5-3-2 is the right formation for us to go into Tigres, or should we? Do you think Miguel Herrera would possibly change it up? You know, we're gonna get Mateus Uribe and Edson Alvarez back too as well. Do you think those players could have made a difference too as well?
Um, to answer your first question, yes, I think we're gonna go with the back five, and I've told you this in the last podcast too. I made it known that this is the formation that worked for Miguel Herrera, and he feels comfortable in this formation.
Mm-hmm.
This is his safety formation, and he's gonna go out with that mindset that he's gonna soak in the pressure and he's gonna get Tigres on the counter attack. I think he's gonna go with that back five. Is that back five the right call? I don't know. I don't think so. But
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm not the manager. And second of all, would Edson and Matias Uribe would have they made a difference on Sunday's match? I think they would have. Um, Mainly Mateos, because I think he adds a little bit more of a danger threat going forward. But Edson too, because he can control the midfield very, very well. And I think me and you both spoke about him pretty well. That he's adapted his game very well to do so. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a boost. It's definitely a boost of to have these two players come into the next leg, and he's gonna have a real scratcher of what he's gonna do with the formation. But I think it's fair to say that he's gonna go with a back five. And I don't know, what are your thoughts? If you saw the lineup tonight and he told you, if Miguel Herrera was in front of you, he told you, "I'm going with a back five against Tigres." What would your response? What would your initial reaction be?
It'd be a little bit of a surprise to me, just because like I can kind of see it, I can kind of understand it too why he want to do that, but like sometimes Paul Aguilar just kind of pushes up so much into the midfield, going forward too as well, making his runs on the down the side and everything. It kind of seems like it's almost like a 4-4-2 sometimes to me as well. It just kind of depends on how you play it out, how you see it, and what Miguel Herrera Piojo wants exactly. But it kind of want to be a surprise to me, But it's just the only thing, if we don't have Miguel Samduo,
Samudio?
like Samudio, Samudio, then like who's gonna fill in that left back spot, it's just kind of hard to say right now. I read earlier from report saying that he was only carted off because he cramped up so much that Miguel Herrera just decided to sub him off, so he can, I guess, just save him, prevent for further injury. But he seems like he's fine and he could possibly be ready to go and everything. So I'm hoping that he can come back, and a back five kind of seems ideal. Try to see the test out how Tigres will come out in the first leg. Who's gonna start. Because you got Ena Valencia, you got Javier Aquino, you got just that depth of the Tigres has. It's kind of unpredictable in a way, and Miguel Herrera just kind of wants to test it out. Probably, like you said, this is a safe formation. This formation is comfortable with. We've seen them thrive with this formation, so wouldn't be two surprises if the back line of five is there. We'll just have to wait and see.
No, yeah, yeah. And I think though, I wouldn't like a back five either. Just because the first leg is at the Azteca, so we're at home the first leg, so it means that this is our safety net, and this is kind of our safe zone. So if we're gonna play a good set of football, and we're gonna go and we're gonna attack and we're gonna get goals, it's gonna have to be at home, and we can't be so defensive, and we can't invite Tigres to have the ball in our stadium, and this is a Tigres that is also now coming on a very, very convincing win. They got through against Leon the same we got through Cruz Azul, with the fact that we drew and we were just higher up the table, so that's why we advanced. Same thing goes for Tigres. So they're kind of both teams are kind of in the same position. It's second against third, and I think America needs to go out there and showcase that they can play a freaking decent amount of football, and if they can do so, then they can get a result against Tigres. And it's so important. It's so important. I don't care if it's a 1-0 advantage, but as long as you get something going into the Volcan, then you've got something. Because if you win by 1 goal, then great. Chuck a back 8 for all I care in the second game. We've seen that the defense can do it. I mean, but get a result at the Azteca. And I think everyone that saw that game against Cruz Azul will be asking for much more from the team. And I think that's fair to say. So, it's hopefully a back five that will showcase a lot of attack, like like the Miguel Herrera in 2013. But we can't be so safe, and we can't definitely be so sure. Is also another thing. But we can only
Yeah,
hope for the best.
It just seems like on this game, like you said, it goes either way. Both. It seems like America has struggled a little bit more than Tigres, but Tigres also has had its sign of struggles too as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right, and that's why I said you're coming into this game at home on Wednesday. You got to go for it. You got to go for it, and you can't be afraid to get yeah, chances are they can score on you. But I mean, if we can defend like we defended against Cruz Azul, then I think we can definitely secure a clean sheet against Tigres at home. But I think for now, I think the main concern is definitely who's going to be that left back. I think we'll get definite news about Samudio come tomorrow. Whether he'll be fit, whether Miguel Herrera thinks he won't. I really do hope so that he's fit because he had one hell of a game against Cruz
Mm,
Azul.
really did.
And he's one of the fan. He's one of the least favorite among fans recently in recent years. So I mean, for
Hmm.
him to put that performance, his future at the game is very very uncertain. It looks like this might be his last season. Once comes December, his contract will expire, and whether he plays his last game or whether he's fighting for a renewal of a contract, I think he still merits a start if he's fit because the only real two people that can come in and fulfill that spot is the youngster that made his debut on Sunday, or Carlos Vargas. But if you put Carlos Vargas in that position, you kind of don't get the best out of him. I feel like he
Hmm.
can do the job, but he won't thrive in the way that he
Yeah.
does in a center back role.
Hmm.
So, I mean, uh, for all sakes, I hope Samudio does, feel good enough to start against Tigres. So, let's go on and let's discuss a little bit more about this Cruz Azul game. I know a lot of people probably won't won't want to go back and relive that, but let's talk about the first leg real quickly, and let's talk about those two red cards. Uh, what do you what are your thoughts about the first one, which I think a lot of people are maybe still hesitant about it, but Mateus Uribe, his red card. What do you assume? Do you think it was fair? Did it merit a yellow card, or was it just a collision and nothing more?
After I saw the replay, I kind of see why it was a red card. I think it was pretty fair in my opinion.
You think
It's
it
just
was?
just
You think it
just
was a little bit stupid of him, or was it just it's just he was just late to the ball?
mm, it was kind of a mixture of both. We kind of possibly seen a little bit of him being a little bit undisciplined. Something you kind of expect from Guido more than probably Mateus Uribe.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Yeah, but
um, but let's remember he was also on a yellow card,
yeah,
so
that's true
I
too.
I, I think that was just pure stupidity from the player.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think just the hype of the game and him playing his first Liguilla and knowing everything at stake and knowing he has an opportunity to get win a championship with the team right away from coming in the summer transfer window. I think maybe all of that just got to him, and he was a little bit stupid and unrash in his thinking. So I think he merited the red card. I think there was no trying to save him from that. And let's talk about Edson. That's one of our players that we've highly talked about, and yet he goes on and gets a red card in this game. And what were your thoughts when he received that red card?
I mean, it was kind of like a professional foul, I guess you could say. Like it was. I mean, he kind of had no choice.
Hmm.
I mean, you either let it slide or you just take one for the team, and I guess he just kind of took one for the team right there.
It's funny, right? Because it's two different perspectives. It's one
Hmm.
that you think, it's Edson who does a good play, right? In your mind as a fan, you're like, well, he took it for the team. He had to do it. The guy was throwing goal. And then, you look at the one that Mateus Uribe had, and you're like, why is he so stupid? Why does he have to be so unrash with his thinking? And it's just like, it's crazy. But at the end of the day, the same result happened. We were down two
Hmm.
men against Cruz Azul. We were down by one player for most of the game, and then towards the last couple of minutes we were down two. Um, but I think it hurt in the second leg a little bit more because you didn't have these two very crucial players to your starting 11, and I think like you said they would have made a difference. They would have. And I think so. But still, even with those two red cards, America could have easily have won that game in the Azul.
Hmm.
You
Easily
know,
could have, I think. Yeah.
they could have done it, and they didn't. And I think it just showcased that there is something missing. And there's something has been missing for the longest time ever. I was just scrolling down through the last month or two. Yeah, the last 2 months. Starting this whole month in November. A total of 3 goals have been scored. A total of
Mhm.
3 goals have been scored in the month of November as of now. 3 goals in this whole entire month. Those are not numbers of a championship side.
Mhm.
You know, those are numbers of a relegated team or a team that's fighting relegation.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not finding the net. And Piojo has said it. There's something. We're just not finding the net. He has confidence in his strikers that his strikers are gonna go and do better, and they're progressing and they're getting better as matches go by. But we just don't see it. We don't. And our other main striker, who is Silvio Romero, hasn't been able to get in the starting 11 for a while now. Why? Because I think Miguel Herrera can see what everyone has been saying. He's just not good enough for the team,
Yeah.
and he's not
He's
performing.
yeah. I mean, it's just like we've said time and time again. It just seems like everything just falls on Oribe for Oribe to score.
Yeah,
Miguel has shown his frustration, a little bit of frustration too, wishing the club would bring in another striker to America too.
yeah, and the rumors start flying about X player come to America and this and that, and we won't know exactly what's true and what isn't until later in the season. But you know, I'm pretty sure it plays on the mind of Silvio Romero. So I mean, he granted might not be the best striker to have on the pitch, and I think we all got a little scared once when Oribe kind of looked like he was going out with an injury
Hmm.
on Sunday. I think everyone started worrying and thinking, "Wow, we're really gonna rely on Silvio Romero to bail us out of this one." But
Yeah.
luckily enough, it was just a great way to to kill time, and
Yeah.
it was nothing more than that, and be thankful for that to happen. But I kind of want to touch upon the fact that even though the result wasn't good and the play wasn't good going forward, I think there is still a little bit of praise that needs to be given to this squad and to Miguel Herrera, because
Hmm.
keeping a clean sheet at 180 minutes against a pretty decent Cruz Azul side is not an easy thing to do, especially if you go down to 9 men in the first leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
mean, it was like we said, decent overall. I mean, it can be better, and we've seen better. Miguel Herrera just got to find that work his magic now. Just find the secret formula. It seems like, and just throw it all together.
yeah,
This next come again against Tigres.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what were your thoughts coming? You sit down come Monday morning and you kind of process everything that just happened, and then what are your thoughts when you wake up and you process everything, and what do you think about this America side after realizing that it was a pretty good defense overall and maybe not so good offense? What is your final thought? Saying okay after these 180 minutes, what is your thoughts?
Just decent, really. Like I've said before, just decent. Just just how are we gonna hold possession? And how are we gonna control the game? How are we gonna win in the midfield? Are we gonna win it up front? Are we gonna win in the back line? How are we gonna win it? How are we gonna hold the ball? Create chances and moving forward. Being able to win the ball back if in case we do lose it for a little bit. How are we gonna win this ball back and keeping
No,
the possession? Yeah.
no, yeah, yeah. I think every America fan coming into this game on Wednesday is nervous, and rightly so, right? Because we've seen, and lately we have not had the best luck with Tigres. Um, we drew a 2-2 game against them in the Estadio Azteca this season. Last time we played them in the Liguilla, we lost in the final against them a year ago. So this is a perfect opportunity for these players to kind of heal those wounds and showcase, you know, and you never know. Morelia might be able to beat Monterrey somehow crazily, and we end up having a Morelia America final. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I think coming into this Tigres match, there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered, and there's a lot of stuff that these players need to reflect on, and a lot of things that they need to, I hope they're practicing uh in their training. So I hope. I hope for that sake, America can come into this Tigres match and really just display, be the America we want them to be. You know,
Hmm.
because we know there's talent there. It's just I feel like sometimes these players just don't showcase it. For what reason? I'm not too sure. You know, one would always want to assume, but until you're in the player's shoes, you can't really be so quick to judge. Um, but I mean, what are you hoping for in this coming up on Wednesday? What is the one thing you're hoping for this America side to do against Tigres?
A goal. I guess you could say a goal, bro.
Just one
Yeah,
goal.
yeah, that's all I want. And then hold the clean sheet, and I'll take a goal into Volcan.
Yeah,
Just
I
just
think
just one goal. Yeah.
I think all of us would is at this point actually just hoping for a goal. I mean, we've gone so long without one, and it's just so frustrating. You know, you see these players push forward, and I mean, you saw when Renato Ibarra missed that opportunity, you just thought to yourself, "What the hell? Are we cursed or something? Why can't the ball go into the back of the net?" Granted, you know, Chuy Corona was able to get a little touch to it before he got magged. But still, that was an opportunity for Renato to put it in the back of the net, and he had to.
Hmm.
Simple as that. I just I feel like we as a fan base would want to see a goal and hope to see a goal, and I'm pretty sure we deserve a goal as well too. I mean, let's face it. You know, these people. You know, I feel bad for the people that went to the Azteca on Sunday night, just kind of really supporting the side to just kind of see what they saw. You know, it was a great display of defense and wonderful saves from Marchesin, but going forward, it must have been frustrating to see live.
Yeah. I mean, I know I was frustrated. I wasn't even there live. So
No, yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. It really is. So I think for the most part, I think we've said what was on our mind. I think we can both agree that we can sum up this game as we not good enough, but hey, we somehow made it a panzazo into the next round, and hopefully we can get into the into the final somehow too, miraculously. I saw on Twitter. This is something that kind of made me thinking. Last year, a lot of Americanistas, not last, well, yeah, the clausura that Chivas was champions. A lot of Americanistas kind of bagged on Chivas for making it the into the semifinals for not even winning for the way that we just won right now. Um,
mm,
and I saw on Twitter one someone that follows Chivas say is how where all those Americanistas saying that going into the next round without even scoring a goal or winning is not even considered should even be considered as winning. And I just what do we can't as a fan now we don't have those bragging rights. And I think if America was to crown themselves champions playing the way they have, and if we win by some miracle goal or by just some random chance, at the end, when America's lifting that trophy, if America's lifting that trophy, what would you think? Would you even care to think about, we got through this round horribly and ugly, or would you just be there celebrating, saying, hey, we won?
nah, I'd be celebrating, man. I'll just throw it in their faces. No, especially in Chivistas, just like bam, just give it to them, bro. Like, hey, it's our turn now.
It's our turn to win ugly.
Yeah.
And who knows? It might just be. It might just be. But um, this America side was not good. It was not even decent. Um, but hey, somehow Piojo worked some magic, and I think just for the sake, I think we need to say our thank yous to that back defense. I think Samudio, we saw he busted his butt so much he had to get out because he was cramped so much.
Yeah.
Um, Vargas,
Vargas.
another
Yeah.
player that you
Definitely
said
Vargas.
was a good player. He had an absolutely amazing game. He even gave a very very good ball to Ori Peralta. Um, who who's showing that he can definitely be the next Edson Alvarez. So that's actually really, really exciting to see. And then, of course, you have
Hmm.
Pablo Aguilar, who I think if anyone deserves to be captain after Uribe, is definitely that man right there. I
Yeah,
mean, Mount, he puts his face where, no face should go. Um, he puts himself on the line, his whole body, everything. So I feel like, every game he tends to have a really good one, and Bruno Valdez too. Absolutely amazing performance from Bruno, solid, and Marchesin. I mean, what can we say? The man
hmm,
just single handedly, at times is keeping us in the games, and he reminds me a lot of. I don't know if people will like this comparison, but of that, Ochoa that would, keep us in the games or make sure we end up with a draw. And, he's slowly but surely starting to rank himself up above one of the best goalkeepers in America history.
definitely. Yeah,
Um,
I can agree to that.
no, yeah, yeah, I think so too, and I think we're pretty lucky to have him. So that that would definitely be. So, anything else you want to add on in this whole Cruz Azul America talk? These two Liguilla games.
Mm,
Just let it
no,
out, man. Just
I
dish it.
don't think so. Like, well, I just want to wish I could have saw like indifferent, if Edson or Materis played in the second leg,
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be definitely going to be a different game compared to the second leg and the first leg against Dudas. But I mean, I just really praying for that goal, just something, and we got to take something to El Volcan. We can't just take a draw, or especially not like at least like a 1-0 loss. We don't especially don't want to give up a goal going into El Volcan, but.
No, no.
Yeah, we'll definitely need a goal. Even though it's a home goal, I'll definitely take a goal going into Volcan. I feel like it'll spark something in this attack going forward and everything.
No, yeah. Yeah. No, I feel you, man. I feel you. Um, we need something. We need something going forward, and hopefully the team can showcase that. Hopefully they can. Um, so that I mean that pretty much wraps up everything that we wanted to discuss about in the podcast today. It was always gonna be a very short one today. But we'll be back with a longer one like last time, and we'll discuss everything through. I know we got some hectic scheduling conflicts coming up. I mean, it always tends to be like this towards the end of the year with December and holidays, and you know everything that happens in a day-to-day basis with a person's life out of this. So for those of you watching, please follow us on our social media. I have both of our Twitters linked in the description down below. Um, I think we can safe to say that we will continue to do this, and we'll try to find a regular schedule for this. I know it's been hectic. We started it, what, that was like a week before Thanksgiving.
I think
So
so. Yeah.
yeah, so maybe it wasn't the best timing on our end, but again, um, sometimes you can never predict these things, and I think at the end of the day, we'll definitely try to fit a very kind of like sturdy schedule, so that way we're not kind of everywhere. So, um, I mean, is there anything more that you'd want to add to this, and or anything else you'd like to say?
Don't forget, guys. It's not about the grades you make, but the hands you shake. Learned that here myself.
And very true, very very true. Wise words, very wise words from our main man Dylan right here.
Makes me wonder though why I'm still here at college.
Hey man, they say education is the best route, right?
And that's true though.
You can never discredit a person with a good education. That's always important. So stay in school, kids, if you're listening. um, but yeah, I think kind of just to give a rundown of what people can expect to see. Um, whatever happens with Tigres, whether we make it into the final, whether we don't, we'll have somewhat of a quick short review for that too. We'll find it, even if it's gotta be off camera and we just upload it or something. But we will get our initial reaction and thoughts to that, and then I know we want to discuss El Tri stuff on the podcast too, and of course this Friday is definitely the group. Whether we'll discuss that right away, maybe we'll probably leave that for some other time, and we'll kind of go into it, dissect it, because we'll not only just know Mexico's group, but we'll know the group next to them and the potential candidates that they will play come come the round of 16. So I mean, for those of you watching, you guys can expect a lot more Club America talk, and we will definitely be talking a lot of Selección Mexicana coming up with the World Cup, and I think we'll have some stuff when Russia comes around the corner, so we can dive into it pretty good. So anything else you kind of want to add to that, Dylan? Just kind of let the people know anything else, any thoughts or goals you'd want to achieve with this.
No, man, I'm just having fun doing this, man. This is just kind of extra for me, man. Just having fun, just talking soccer. I don't have nobody to talk soccer about with here, man. So I mean, like everything we talk about, it's just kind of like I guess you say like events. I guess you could
Yeah.
say kind of like it's just like letting all my thoughts out and stuff, man. But
No, yeah, yeah, and this
no,
is
man,
the place
I'm having fun doing this. Yeah.
No, yeah, and so am I, and so am I. Every time we get close to doing one of these, it's exciting, and yeah, I kind of think about what I'm gonna ask throughout the day. But yeah, for those of you guys that are supporting us and kind of just watching us, and hopefully you guys can spread the word and we can grow. I feel like this has a lot of potential and we can reach a lot of people. So just kind of thank all of you guys for joining us tonight. I know it was a short one, but we'll be back, like I said, soon with something a lot more. And so you guys can look forward to that. Hopefully America can get a result come Wednesday and Saturday. And hopefully next time we're talking, it's because America is going to be in the final. So I just want to thank you, Dylan, for taking the time and coming out, talking to all of us, talking America, and like I said, best of luck with everything.
All right, you too, man. Thanks a lot for having me.
No, no, thank you guys, all of you guys, for watching. And like I said, follow us on Twitter. We'll follow you guys back, and we always love interacting. So thank you, and like I said, thank you, Dylan, and I hope everyone has a good night.